there. There are no major law changes for the Super Rugby. There are some tweaks, and all of these tweaks have been driven by the players and the coaches. And they've done that, A, to make the game still contestable, because that's what the game of rugby is about, but also to clean up some of the messy areas of our game, the back of the scrum with these little half-backs sort of try and get in there, and also the back of the ruck. So 4 areas we're focusing on tonight, and the first one is the scrum, and this is a law change, and you'll see this, our viewers, graphically on Friday night. No longer now can the halfback come around the scrum and stand in between the flanker and the number 8. Often it looks really messy, and why we're doing this is to make sure we get clean ball into the scrum and clean ball out of the scrum. Often the halfback comes around there to try and kick it. See TJ Perinard tried to do that last year. It's messy, it's ugly, and often they're actually offside, even though Justin Marshall may not admit it. The second area of the scrum, and this is a great area that will certainly please Grant and us, but also a lot of fans out there. If, and there's no safety issues here, this is what we've got to be really emphasised as well, because that is the referee's right. If there's a scrum collapse, but the ball is at the number 8's feet and available to be played, it can be played. So no reset scrum, that is fantastic. And the third area we're looking at in scrums, no longer will there be a turnover, possession given to the opposition if there's a wheeled scrum. So the mindset of the big front rowers, they get in there, the opposition, let's disrupt, let's pull it around. It looks ugly, it is ugly, it's messy, no longer. So the word and what I've seen at training, everyone is just pushing straight, and that's exactly what we want to happen. On to the lineouts now, and last year just the balance from attack and defence got 2 out of kilter. The defensive side had no hope to stop some of the mauls. So we're just trying to even that up a bit and make it, like I said right from the start, a real contest. So the ball's at the back of the maul, the obstruction coming around, that's going to be looked at by the referee. But more importantly, and this is for the Brumbies, this is for Pocock, and this is maybe for the Wallabies, no longer can you come in and get the ball off the jumper, and they call that ripper sliding back. And we can look on the vision that I've prepared for you. Look at Pocock in the headgear, going in, he's a ripper, and then he just walks backwards. Now, often you see teams, guys flying in front of the ball, like the guys on the left and right. That is illegal this year, 2016. That is a great thing. Now, what the players are going to have to do, Pocock gets rip it, instead of walking back, they have to pass it, of course, on the inside, away from the protection. It'll get itself to the back of the maul, and then they can pass it. So that is a really good law. Moving on, now, of course, we're going to look at the offside lines. Now, offside, frustrating for a lot of people, of course. The pick and go, the drive, or the halfback trying to clear it. The major law change we're looking at here, the pillars, the big guys on the side of the ruck. Traditionally, you've seen them down there in the crouch position there. Feet maybe onside, the hands in that 3-point stance are offside. Now, the hands must be behind the offside line. Where is the offside line? It is the last leg, limb, part of your body at the base of the ruck. So the players need to come back in there, give themselves some space, and that is going to clear some space on the inside, which create plenty of space on the outside. The other area of emphasis for the offside line, and we've used this in the NPC the last couple of years, but any player in front of the kicker has to stop. Anyone within that 10-metre circle has to get out of it. Now that is going to happen. And just lastly, goalie, foul play. Now the neck and the head area, no changes there. If any player comes in contact with the head, we know what that means. That's foul play. At the minimum, it's a penalty. It may go upwards. But 2 real areas that we're looking at. Safety once more. We see in this Highlanders Hurricanes game, players trying to clean out. Now, Richie McCord taught us the crocodile technique on breakdown last year, where you try and flip the player out. You get that wrong and slide up to the shoulders, into the neck, like we saw on those occasions. That is foul play. That is around the head and the neck, and that is a penalty. And the assistant referees and the referee looking very, very closely at that. And the last one, any player lying on the ground in a maul situation. Broadhurst is a great example. Coming up, flicking in, and bang, taking him out. That is a penalty. That is foul play. Hicker Elliott actually red carded in this game, the Chiefs versus the Sharks last year, but we're going to see more of that. Although the players have been warned, they know not to do that. Get away. Can't do what Hicker Elliott does. They are the major law changes that we're looking at. Great, but goalie, emphasise once more, nothing major. all to enhance the game, stop around the messy areas. It's going to be high-paced, high-octane, exciting, driven by the players and coaches, so they're the ones who need to buy into it.
That's awesome, mate. All of that in one breath. One breath out.